In the gaming industry, there tends to be a lot of shady business practices and downright disrespectful actions taken by publishers and developers alike. From overpriced and disappointing DLC to broken games on launch day, there are plenty of reasons to be wary of almost every major game release. As an indie developer and more importantly a gamer, I would like to share my opinion on these events and speculate how they may affect the industry in the long run, and propose some solutions. As always, these are all just my opinion and not to be taken as fact. Just a start to what will hopefully become a deep discussion on the industry that we all love.
There is one game in particular that I would like to focus on today, and that is Mortal Kombat X. First, let's talk about some of the controversy that Mortal Kombat has gotten before and after its release, and then I'll give my opinions along the way. Now, we all know about Goro being a pre-order bonus and how most people really didn't like that at all. But of course, we let it slide as we complain on the forums and pre-order the game anyway, which is exactly what Warner Brothers wants us to do. It still fills his pockets after all. Goro even came out as DLC later on down the line, which feels a bit dirty to be honest. Those who didn't pre-order the game had to pay for the character who should have been free in the first place. Tanya was even in story mode, and she's a regular character of the series, and she was sold as DLC later on down the line. Even though in the story mode she had a pretty usable moveset that could be used just for unlockable character or something, you know, but that didn't happen at all. So characters who are already on the disc should never be DLC ever. Character DLC is not the only thing that you can buy. If you want to buy some easy fatality tokens, you can buy those too. And if you're not familiar with that, it's basically a token system to where at the end of the fight you can press 2 buttons instead of 4 to perform your fatality. For example, one fatality may be down, up, right, square. If you have an easy fatality token, you can just press R2 and R2 and squares, or R2 and triangle, and vice versa for the Xbox. And this is a pretty dumb thing to do because they're basically preying on people's impatience and selling these things for $5 and $10 and all that. And you can also earn these easy fatality tokens through the crypt in the game. So why would you even want to pay for it? Unless you just don't like unlocking things. But I don't believe this should ever be paid for, some easy fatality tokens. It's just not genuine at all. It doesn't feel right. And you just save your money just by getting them in the crypt, so why not just do that? Now let's get to the positive stuff. It seems like I'm down in the game a lot, and it's because I am, but only for the DLC practices. The game itself is one of the greatest Mortal Kombat games I've ever played from gameplay perspective. The animations are smoother than they've ever been, which improves the fights dramatically in my opinion. And the graphics are of course great, which is something we should expect in 2015. It's not hard to get great graphics anymore, and it's one of the best fighting games I've played in a while. I personally love it a lot, and I recommend buying it. Maybe not at 60 if you're not a huge fighting game fan, but I paid about $40 for the game, and I have no regrets whatsoever. I still play the game to this day. It's a very good game. Let that be known. The variations of each character, it may not be that many characters in the game by default. I can't remember how many there are, but compared to Street Fighter, it's not really that many. But each character has its own variation, which unlocks a couple of new moves they can use. Like Raiden has his Thunder God variation, which gives him a little bit more abilities versus his some lightning trap variation. I believe it's been a while since I played as Raiden. I don't really remember what they're called, but they're pretty fun to mess around with. And in other words, it's a really good game. You can just mix up your styles, and I recommend it to any fighting game fan or even Mortal Kombat fan in general. And if all this fails, play with your friends and see their reactions. Hey, I hope that I made my point clear in this brief video. My goal is to remind people of the dirty things that developers and publishers do in order to gain money out of developers, while at the same time letting people know the game itself is not really bad. It just is suffering from horrible business practices. We don't really need a whole bunch of negativity in the industry because we have a lot already. So I just want to kind of bring it out and counteract that with some positive. Please don't pre-order the game. Just wait. Companies are really trying to bog down these pre-order DLCs and all that stuff. Not every company, but a lot of them are. Please don't get tricked by these DLCs. And for the love of God, stay happy.
In the gaming industry, there tends to be a lot of shady business practices and downright disrespectful actions taken by publishers and developers alike. From overpriced and disappointing DLC to broken games on launch day, there are plenty of reasons to be aware of almost every major game release. As an indie developer and more importantly a gamer, I would like to share my opinion on these events and speculate how this may affect the industry in the long run and propose some solutions. As always, I keep on screwing it up.
In an industry that we both love, it's time.
In the gaming industry, there tends to be a lot of shady business practices. In the gaming industry, there tends to be a lot of shady business practices and downright disrespectful actions taken by publishers and developers alike. From overpriced and disappointing DLC to broken games on launch day, there are plenty of reasons to be wary of almost every major game release. As an indie developer and more importantly a gamer, I would like to share my opinion on these events and speculate how this may affect the industry in the long run and propose some solutions. As always, these are just my opinion and it's not to be taken as fact. Just as a start to what can hopefully